So he represented their whole families. There had been a whole bunch of people. He would say, like, I'm providing financial advice to the founders of Google. I'm providing financial advice to Jeff Bezos. I'm providing financial advice for the chief technologist at Google. Wow, I'm in good company because these are really smart guys with a lot of money. And I get a phone call from someone like a guy named Meyerwald. Who said he was the chief technology of Google. You know, Jeffrey has been helping me. He's financial advisor. I told Jeffrey I was building a boat. He told me to call you.
You claim that you have been a victim and defrauded by Epstein, correct?
Correct.
Then why didn't you file charges, go after him? He used money to hurt girls and probably young men. Why didn't you do anything to recoup your name, which has been synonymous with Epstein? Do you know your name comes up in the emails among victims who never met you, but your name was used consistently?
I'm not sure I understand what the question to him is.
The question is, why didn't you file any charges against Epstein if you conned you of $200 million that we know of? Why didn't you go after him?
Well, at the time I didn't know. And
But when you found out, why didn't you go after him? Is it because he was a good friend?
no.
You had
My dad is probably laughing. You know,
No,
one of
I
the
know.
one of the things my dad told me, that you don't get a pissing contest with an elephant. And running a public company for a long time, I'm not good at public relations or financial public relations. And so I would answer questions to analysts. I'd call people up and I'd tell them the truth. And what I learned in the course of my business career is, whether it was my chief of staff, the company lawyer, personal lawyers, what should I do? And the advice is, let us handle it. You don't want to get ahead of this. So I'm happy that today is happening.
Good.
Because I want to help, and I would do everything I can to nail that son of a bitch. And
Because they might be hurting
Please let
more.
him. Please let him finish.
And I can't tell you how much I value my own ethics, my own moral compass, that it has a true north. And what I think happened, now knowing about all the cons, is that Jeffrey would tell somebody that they were me or this was somebody else. Like, you and I've never met, right? I don't recognize you, but you're a congresswoman. I think, because.
Yeah, I never met you, but you're all over the emails.
Yeah, but so I presume you're a congresswoman, and I presume you're not a man in women's clothing. But I don't know what I didn't know, and
understand.
this is.
You know now, and we can do something about it.
Oh yeah.
So Wexner claims, you claim that you cut ties with Epstein in 2007, right? Okay. But you emailed Epstein, quote, Abigail told me the response, all I can say is I feel sorry. You violated your own #1 rule. Always be careful, end of quote. That was an email in 2008, Mr. Wexner. I know, I'm letting you know that the public knows.
Probably I was giving him the finger.
Director, just real briefly, did the FBI or Department of Justice ever directly speak to you about Epstein or Maxwell? Has the FBI or DOJ ever directly contacted you or spoken to you about Epstein?
Not to my knowledge.
Never.
Never.
And then finally, would you consider Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein friends or friendly? Would you classify them that way in the information that you have?
I think it's really two questions. Would I think they were friends? No. Jeffrey Epstein held him out as a friend.
Great, thank you.
We can go off the record.
We'll go back on the record.
What's that?
That is a microphone. Mr. Wexner, it is 1:17 in the afternoon. Our minority colleagues touched on a lot of different subject areas, and I just want to go back through and parse out some things. First, though, I want to enter as Exhibit 5, the letter from Les.
Do one more. I'll get back to the rest of it.
This document is titled Letter from Les, General News directed to the Wexner Foundation community. I will stipulate to you there's no date on here. The date it was posted on the website was August 8th, 2019. Do you guys have any reason to dispute that? In this letter that you wrote in August of 2019, you mentioned that you had that Mr. Epstein had various well-known, respected individuals as financial clients and in his inner circle. My question to you is, could you elaborate a little bit to who some of those financial clients were that you were aware of?
Well, it says Epstein represented that he had that. He wouldn't know if he did or not.
Were you aware of any of Mr. Epstein's other clients?
Let me think. Well, specifically, I talked to Ellie de Rothschild, and so I mentioned that earlier. So he represented their whole families. There had been a whole bunch of people. Most of them I never would have met, but I knew Ellie. I never met people, but there were people that called me that either insinuated or said they knew Jeffrey through a financial relationship. And so, I mean, they could have been actors, but in the time, a guy calls me up. I'll give you an example.
It's just a
No,
question.
because I want you to understand this, because it's so confusing to me. He would say, like, I'm providing financial advice to the founders of Google. I'm providing financial advice to Jeff Bezos. I'm providing financial advice for the chief technologist at Google. And I thought, wow, I'm in good company, because these are really smart guys with a lot of money. And you have to put yourself in the mindset of if my attorney said, he was qualified to argue in front of the Supreme Court, I'd believe him. I didn't say to call the Supreme Court and say, tell me, is he really an attorney or did he do this? And I get a phone call from someone like a guy named Meyerwald. Who said he was the chief technology of Google. Jeffrey has been helping me. He's financial advisor. I told Jeffrey I was building a boat. He told me to call you. I had never built a boat, because I hadn't. But if I wanted to build a boat, I would go to FedShip, because reputationally they're the best boat builders. Then, it was, and that's the part that is so embarrassing, is what a commie was. And I don't know, you believe your priest or your minister, your rabbi is what they are, you believe them. And it was mostly phone calls of people would say, or if you'd bump into somebody, Jeffrey's my advisor, or Jeffrey's talked to me about stuff, or Jeffrey's helped me with financial things. I can't remember specifically, but as I look back at it, it was part of the con. So I never met Meyerwald.
Understood.
Can I have 1 second? Because I think it will move this thing along a little faster.
Tell it. Stories, okay?
Just answer the question.
Mr. Wexner, you mentioned some of these phone calls from other individuals, boasting about their ties with Mr. Epstein. Do you have a recollection of when most of these would have occurred, these phone calls?
Pretty regularly, but I can't remember any of them.
Understood. In Majority Exhibit 3, your statement from this morning, your written statement from this morning. You mentioned on the second page, I believe it is, second paragraph, approximately middle of the paragraph, that you consulted Ace Greenberg and Jimmy Kane of Bear Stearns, Epstein's former employer. Did I read that correctly?
Correct.
What did you reach out to Mr. Greenberg and Mr. Kane about at Bear Stearns with regard to Mr. Epstein?
Checking references.
And as far as checking those references, did anything come up surprising to you about Mr. Epstein's background?
All positive.
And you also mentioned, well, let me take a step back. Bear Stearns has mentioned and previously reported that Mr. Epstein didn't have a degree or some of the proper qualifications for his job there. Did you have any reason to doubt the qualifications of Mr. Epstein when it related to being your financial advisor?
I don't recall that I ever questioned that. That is, he had a degree. Don't remember asking the question.
And so going off of that, other than making some phone calls to some individuals, did you ever formally check into Mr. Epstein's past?
Not beyond talking to the people I mentioned.
Understood. You also state, sorry to jump back and forth, the letter from Les Exhibit 5. That same paragraph, the third one in the middle there, the last sentence after the comma says, "I believed I could trust him." What about him, meaning Mr. Epstein, did he do that you thought you could trust him?
Well, I put him in a position of trust. He was a fiduciary that was to act in my interest, and I trusted that he could do that.
And your trust in him came before he actually handled any of your finances. Is that correct?
Correct. 'Cause initially, he was like a friend of a friend who I perceived of as being skilled to review Harold's work.
Understood. Moving along a little bit, you may have touched on this with our minority colleagues. What was the rough portfolio that Mr. Epstein was handling for you?
Probably all my personal finance, houses, equipment, cars, just inventorying of stuff. The stuff, I don't know, all the financial things that someone would handle outside of their business. I'd have someone do because it was so much stuff.
And the financial advisor previous to Mr. Epstein, did that individual have power of attorney?
I don't specifically remember it, but I think he did.
And Mr. Epstein did have power of attorney over your financial matters?
Yeah, as did Dennis.
And why did this become your practice to give them power of attorney?
But so busy, traveling so much, the papers had to be signed, tax returns filed, people had to act on my behalf, so many things to sign. I needed to have somebody to do that.
Understood. How involved were you with Mr. Epstein's determinations over your finances? Did you have any involvement?
I'm confused about what determinations mean.
More of like did you have any oversight of what Mr. Epstein was doing as your financial advisor?
Well, I'm sure he did at the time, yeah.
And did he bring every decision to you, some decisions to you? What did that look like?
I don't know. Was running a 20-division business, had community responsibility. So if you ask me what the president of the university brought to me or what the head of the foundation. I can't remember, but I was involved in everything except just a lot of stuff.